what you need to understand in order to arrive in your highest timeline and your divine purpose. Let's dive into this. I want to do this video specifically today. So it's the 23rd of July. We're moving into August. I just recorded the whole monthly forecast for August. Oh my God. Whoa, it's crazy wild. If you are not prepared, you are going to feel a lot of things. We've got so much energy. So I thought today was really important because it is about getting clarity. It is about arriving in divine essence, divine purpose, and highest timeline. We've been preparing for this. So June and July were our preparation months of building our foundation. August is rise up. And so if you haven't been doing the work and you haven't been following along, catch the F up. Okay. I do a daily forecast on TikTok, diamond.no, and here on YouTube on shorts. Um, to help you arrive in your highest timeline using the energy to ascend. We have big transitions coming. September is going to be a slap in the face if you are not prepared. And August is going to be a lot of ups and downs. But it is about standing in the beginning, the onset, or a level up in your divine purpose if you're already there. So I really want to share how to get there. I'm going to share a little bit of my story. Because it's not something that happens on its own, guys. I work with people. I've been mentoring mentors across this planet for 20 something years. I did it with celebrities. I do it now with all of us spiritual folk, the light workers, the star seeds, the game changers here on this planet. And it's time. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely essential that we figure this out right now. We are building something very new. So let's start with what is divine purpose and what is your highest timeline. Your highest timeline is a never ending, limitless ascension, expansion of deep universal wisdom that you use and you know what to do with it. You're not sitting here broadcasting fucking love and light on the internet. You're not going through the trauma of the lie of what a twin flame is, because that's bullshit. You're not like, you're propelling yourself into using your energy, quantum energy through you, with you, for the collective of humanity and everything else involved. It is an expansion of wisdom that does not stop. It doesn't end. There's no limit to it. And just when I think I have it fucking figured out, I'm like, oh my God, another piece comes in. So your highest timeline is your evolutionary, your ascension process. Your highest timeline includes, heads up, it does include prosperity. It includes deep, 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 passionate, romantic intimacy and love. Oh my God, it's so good. It includes fully healing your emotional body. It includes healing all of the relationships in your life and thriving in union between your ego self and your consciousness, your isness. They're in union. You don't shun the ego. In union with your partner, in union with prosperity, in union with thriving energy, in union with your family, the people, the places, the things, and in union with your divine essence and purpose. It's a requirement. You came here to be human and to explore what you're capable of creating. That also looks like material possession. You get that. You understand how to bring that in. And it's not in a selfish way. It's not in a materialistic way. It's in a look what I can do way. It's amazing. It's incredible. So that's what your highest timeline. It's a requirement for you to experience the ultimate freedom. Therefore, you receive all of the things or you manifest align with all of the things, right? I have a masterclass coming up on manifesting very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Because I think that a lot of people are doing it the wrong way and not really getting the results. And I am a full creator of my experience. So I want to show you how to do this. So let's talk about divine purpose now. What is that? A lot of people call it soul purpose. I don't believe in soul per se. I believe in consciousness. The universal flow is in every single one of your cells. So quantum physics, at the core of every cell, they call it light. You've heard me talk about this a lot. That is universal wisdom. That is universe. That is source. That is God. That is the universe. That is all of the things. So Here's a tip moving forward to begin shifting your reality. When you say the universe, trust the universe, or the universe is teaching me something, that's not how it works. You are the universe. So you have four bodies. You have your emotional, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual body. When you say the universe, I want you to mentally acknowledge that that is your spiritual body. Okay. That's going to help you progress forward drastically because then you're not putting your power outside of yourself. You have to understand that you came here as the creator to be the creator of the human experience. Divine purpose is all about really, truly self first. It is about union between your consciousness, isness, universal flow that you are, and your ego self working in harmony. When you understand the principle of divine oneness and you have that embodiment, everything changes for you. So that's the only thing you really need to work on if you're going to work on anything. Healing your limiting belief structure that's preventing the expansion of wisdom. So we've got that in each cell universe. It wants to expand. That's what light body code activation is the expansion of universal wisdom through your cellular structure. But that cannot happen if you have limiting beliefs that are holding it back, that are holding you back, that say life is hard, the dark night of the soul is hard, depression is real, anxiety is real. None of these things are real. They are perceptions, a little bit of a trigger, but they're not real. They're perceptions of, I fear the unknown. But the unknown is only what you have yet to create. So if you're experiencing anxiety and you're experiencing depression, it's because you have not moved into the awareness that you are the creator of your experience. And I can say that as a woman who had so much anxiety and so much depression that I tried to leave Earth, number one, several times. And number two, I couldn't leave my house because of the anxiousness. I could not leave my house, not alone get on camera and talk about shit. Those things will shift on their own when you heal that limiting belief structure. Okay. That's the webbing or the netting around the consciousness. So to step into divine purpose, we have to dive into what wants to be healed. I did not figure this out right away, and my journey has been hella messy, like so fucking messy. So I started divine purpose. Um, okay, so when I was 12, I always knew when I was a little girl I was meant for something. And I was bounced around in a lot of different homes because my parents were incapable of being parents because they were just children and they were very broken. So in the beginning of my life, there was a lot of different homes. And I was never kept. I felt abandoned, all of the things. But one of the things that would happen is every time I had to get into the back seat, I would get picked up, leave all my belongings, and have to be driven to a new home where I had no idea where I was going. And I'd be in the back of the car with nothing. And I'd be like, okay, cool. And I would imagine from my heart, energy radiating out my heart and pouring down my arms. And I would just sit there with my hands like this on the side of the car and be like, everything that we drive by, I'm sending my heart. I'm sending my peace. I'm sending my love. I don't want any little girl ever to feel what I feel. Like I just didn't want anyone. I was like, give it to me, stupid. But that's what I did. I was like, give it all to me, give it all to me, give it all to me. Let me take it from everyone because I understand that I'm still okay. And I would push all my love out. And I would just imagine like this golden light being like a veil of everything we drove by. So that was when I was really little. So I started with that journey, knowing I was meant to bring transition and change. Then it shifted when I was in my teens. So my parents became Jehovah's Witnesses. So my parents got back together. I don't fucking know. Dad got off drugs and alcohol and became an excessive abuser. My mom just went 10 shades of mean. They came together, very dysfunctional. And they became Jehovah's Witnesses, which is this religion that, in my opinion, a cult, but they inundate you with fearing the devil and being consumed by the devil. They inundate you with God's going to destroy this planet in Armageddon any minute. Every thunderstorm is going to be the end of the world. And if you weren't good enough, you're going to be dead. And that's the end of you. But those that were good enough will be resurrected, but you're pretty much going to go through full destruction. And then a lot of talk about negative ghosts and spirit haunting you and devouring you and the demons and all of this stuff, right? So like, talk about anxiety. And here I am, I'm 12. I am insanely psychic. I'm a medium. I can see spirit. I can see all these things. I'd never had a problem with it my whole life. I'd always been communicating. All of my teachers were like, her imaginary friends need to stop coming to school with her. And I was like, but they're real. What are you talking about? So I was little, quite a few things. And so here I am put in this box of fear at 12. I had a lot of crazy experiences. Spirit will only ever reflect your vibration. That's all they can do. They're just a mirror for you, the same way everything else is. So if you are afraid of spirit, you're going to receive the vibration of fear. And I was very afraid, and I had a lot of crazy things, a lot of crazy things. So much so that like one time we were at the Kingdom Hall Church, and we come home and the chimneys, the whole roof's on fire, and I'm like, whoop. And we go in the house, and my bedroom closet, it was a really old house. It used to be a morgue on top of that. Like, what were my parents fucking thinking? Move a psychic, a medium into an old morgue. Awesome sauce, right? So it's an old morgue. We're living in this, revamped it to some creepy ass house. My bedroom was upstairs. There's only two rooms. And when you go upstairs, you had to reach around and click the light, like one of those click ones. And there'd always be a hand that would grab my wrist. And I'd be like, it was intense. So the closet in my room had the chimney that went through it. And so there's just these flames bellowing out. The neighbor calls the fire department. They come. I have kittens. My cat had kittens in my bedroom closet. So I don't give a fuck. I'm running up the stairs for these baby kittens, right? And the firemen are like, no, no, no. And I'm like weaving through, and I grab the kittens and I throw them in my shirt because I still put Trevor in my shirt, my cat. I'm just like, I don't know. I need him near my heart, right? So I'm like, rah, and I like hug them. And I watch them break down the back wall of my closet and pull it off. And I shit you not, I saw everything that lived in that house energetically move out of the closet. I stood there and watched hundreds of spirit just into my bedroom. And I was like, what the fuck? I was just standing there like, what is happening? And the fire went out. And the fire department was like, oh, I guess you got to clean your chimney. And they left my fucking closet like that. And they went back downstairs, and I had to sleep in there that night. And so I'm sleeping in there that night, and they're all there. And I'm lying like, I do. And I'm still holding these kittens, right? Like, thank God I had them. And in that moment, I was like, no, I need to figure you out. You don't get to control me. You don't get to control me. And so I started processing, like, you don't get to control me. No, 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 no. I refuse. And I start with that energy. So then they just stood there in refusal. Super awesome. Didn't go away. And then I realized acceptance. So that whole night, I did not sleep. I'm sitting there holding kittens, and I'm having a conversation with 100 dead people. And I'm like, okay, what is this here? And they're like, it was acceptance. And I was like, oh. So then I learned like how to support them in moving to the other side. It happened real fast. And I was like, okay. They did not leave. They stayed in my bedroom until we moved out of that house. That was super fucking awesome. Cool sauce. But what did happen in regards to divine purpose is I said, go outside. So I put my kittens down. I'm like, don't you fucking touch my kittens. And I tuck them all in this little like pillow blanky thing. And I go outside and I walk up a hill. We have a big hill in the backyard. I sit on the hill and I'm staring up at the sky, and I'm like, okay, they weren't demons like I've been taught. What the fuck is this? And this one star is like pulsating and pulsating and pulsating. And it was like, there's so much more to this, baby girl. I was like, okay. And I swear it was galactic energy. Well, obviously, it was galactic energy. It was Max, who was my top ascended guide at the time. That's a different story. And so we had this beautiful conversation. And in that moment at 12, do you want to change this world? And I was like, obviously, obviously, I do not want another child to go through what I've gone through. At this point, I had been completely invaded sexually. I had attempted to leave already once at this point. I had my flesh broken, my bones broken, my spirit broken. My mother was convinced that I was possessed by the devil and treated me accordingly. It was pretty awesome, as well as a lot of sexual harassment and assault from that individual. So, yeah, I'd like to change it. 100%, I would like to change the way humanity functions. I would like to be able to heal the broken that is inside these two individuals so that they stop breaking me. That was my first response. Can I heal the broken within them so that they can stop breaking me? And the answer was no. The answer was you can heal your broken, and then you will heal the broken of others. And that moment never left me. So on and upward, 18, I remember I was married to a Jehovah's Witness. So I would have been like 20 at this point, maybe 21. And I had my daughter and this energy book, I don't know, from yard sale or something on like energy and quantum healing came into my life. And I was like, what is this? And that's like a big to be like, you cannot do that as Jehovah's Witness. You are not allowed to read that shit. You're not allowed to meditate. You're not allowed to masturbate. You're not allowed to do any of the things. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hide this under my pillowcase. So I start studying it. And then I'm like, I'm going back to school. So a long journey of going back to school, always asking and always trusting it would go like this. If I'm going to heal my broken, to heal the broken in others, what's my next step? And then I would trust and it would show up. The course, the education, the certification program, the diploma, the degree, whatever it was, the path would light its way. And at the same time that that would be happening, someone would enter my life and offer words of confirmation. And I was like, this is undeniable. And then I got divorced, 2 kids divorced by the time I was 22, 23 maybe. I'm 45, turning 46. So it's a long time ago to remember. Ended up homeless and fully understood how to manifest my reality. And at the same time, I understood how to manifest my reality. I understood that I was meant to bring this to the world. So, divine purpose. You can only bring people as far as you are. That's it. You can continue to move on. You can continue to ascend and expand your wisdom, but it is not your role to, one, fix anybody. It's not your role to convince anybody. It's your role to allow the people in front of you to be seen, heard, valued, and show them how far you are and show them the path that you walked. Not looking at their potential, not looking at anything else. So stop doing that. It's about, this is how I got here. This is what worked for me. Your divine purpose will continue to expand through you, with you, for purpose. It moves through you. In my 30s, I had already done a tremendous amount of work, a lot of corporate positions, but also working with celebrities in my 30s and helping them navigate their self-awareness. I didn't know it was going to turn into this, which is way better, by the way. But I remember going through a very dark timeline, which would be referred to as the dark night of the soul, which is when we birth from fourth dimensional consciousness into fifth dimensional consciousness. But you can bounce back and forth over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until that big root of what wants to be healed, that is going to liberate you into purpose, is healed. And I did not figure it out right away. So my internal torture, we'll call it, oh my goodness, it lasted a very long time, to the point of, man, a narcissistic relationship, my son moving back in with his father, who was a Jehovah's Witness. Let me tell you, I was not comfortable with that. My daughter going through her own challenges with depression and frustration. Very dark timeline. My body getting cancer and having a full nervous breakdown. And then I thought I was crazy. And in all of that darkness, there was these little moments of, get your shit together, get your shit together, get your shit together, my God. And I would put on headphones and I listened to high vibe music that powered me up. It was actually 30 Seconds to Mars, believe it or not, at the time. That was just like, oh, that fire in me. And I get to go see them in August, which is super cool, for like the 4th time. But that was the beginning of, how do I power myself up? And that was when I birthed the program Divine Alignment, through sitting there and understanding. And that is when I shifted into embodying the principle of divine oneness. And that is when I stood in my power. And that is when I said, I will not be shook again. Nothing will shake me again. And I dumped the narcissist. I lost a lot in that relationship, let me tell you. I mended the connection with my son. I supported my daughter with what was required. I changed my effing life. I started working out every day. I'd already been on and off in the fitness industry, but I was like, no, I started working out to be strong mentally, not to change my body. I fell in love with my meat suit and it's overweight. And I don't care. I think it's awesome. I I dedicated my entire life to honoring my journey, to honoring my bodies, my emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual body. And I made the decision that I would never be shook again. I became pretty fiery and fierce. And through that, inspired action kept happening. Now, here's where it gets challenging for all of us. Ready? If you are going to fully anchor yourself in divine purpose, there's a lot of sacrifice. I cannot tell you how often, let me pause that and say this first. I know the way. And when I meet someone who aches for it the way I used to ache for it so bad that it would be like, it would just knock me on my ass in bed in depression because the ache was so intense. And there's so many times where I was like wanting to give up, but didn't. I know how bad it hurts. I know the ache for divine purpose. And so when I meet someone who aches that way, I will offer whatever I can to support them, to love them, to nurture them, and put them at my table. I have built a mother big table and I've got a lot of seats available. I will honor those that ache for it. And there's this defining moment where they're going to choose to follow from a heart centered space, or they're going to turn into a fucking self righteous asshole and leave me, start up their own identical business, call all my clients and try to recruit them and still not even and not be heart centered, but pretend to be. And the dumb ones leave and go. The clients who are not ready, the students who are not ready to fully embrace themselves will go work with a fake ass. But the ones that are ready to do what I'm doing in the world, they stay at my table and they build their own table and they build their own divine purpose. And so as you move through this, the complicated thing, the hard part that I see with the people who go try build their own table and never get anywhere and can't grow their following because they're not authentic, a little spicy. I've gotten so much feedback about one person who just left me recently, a lot of feedback about this individual this flower, trying to call all my clients or email my students and convince them to go over to the other side. And I've said some really obnoxious things. And I'm not okay with that. I have no tolerance for that. That is a boundary for me. So that person can go be inauthentic and not go anywhere, whatever. I don't care. So it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart for someone who is so close to discovering self to be misled. That's what hurts my heart. So that's where my fire comes from because I care. Now, this is where it gets really hard for people. The people I bring to my table look at what I've built. This is a phenomenal company. We do incredible things and we are huge. We're quiet about it, but we're huge. And they think it's so easy. They see how easy it is for me. They don't see the sacrifices. And so they jump on and then they go, oh, I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to go do it over here because they want the money more than they want to actually change lives because they're selfish. I don't give a fuck about the money. I give all my money to charities. I don't care. It's not about that for me. I've got an overflow. I'm not interested in it. So anyway, this is the part where you may fail. You come to a junction where you have to decide to trust the internal wisdom being birthed through your ego self and not attaining it outside of yourself or stealing what I've taught you or taking a course or this or that or this or that and being like, this is my purpose. Your purpose isn't outside of you. Your purpose is within you. Yes, all of those certifications are going to support you in what you bring forward, but it's the consciousness, divine purpose, true divine purpose in your highest timeline is your consciousness moving through you, your ego self, your personality, your story, your path. It's you, love. It's not something else. It's not external. It's not stealing someone else's program and relabeling it and trying to do it. It's nothing like that. It's you. And until you become truly brave enough to be authentic, you won't arrive. It takes a lot of courage to be completely vulnerable. It takes a lot of courage to be all the quirky weirdo that you are, that I am. This didn't happen overnight. It takes dedication to your journey, and it takes sacrifice. And what I mean by sacrifice is there's going to be things within you. There's going to be smack talk. There's going to be bad habits. There's going to be self-sabotage. There's going to be trauma response. There's going to be people that are holding you down. All of these things that are holding your vibration down. And you have to let go of them to allow space for the expansion of consciousness within you and wisdom within you. You have to take care and master all 4 of your bodies individually and then bring them into union. It's a requirement. So my journey was understanding my spiritual body. Then, let's heal the emotional body. Let's get into that. Then it was the physical healing cancer, fibromyalgia, like symptoms of lupus, all of the things, mastering my ascension symptoms and not letting myself be victim to them. Then it was mastering my mind, mastering my ego self, and not that it gets carried away, because it doesn't anymore. That part, it's merged. My spiritual body, my ego self is like a wild stallion, a unicorn, if you will. And my spiritual body is mounted on and riding that stallion and going to where it desires to go. But it was mastering the power of my mind that fully launched me into everything that I have now. And what I have now is a global empire. I have 2 global empires, 2 different companies. I have 2 other very small companies. Well, they're not small by any means, but they're not public. I have now a manager for my book. My book is being launched in September. I have the perfect marketing team. I have everything required for me to go into the world with this book and show you the way. I have it all. I have the house. It's fucking 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Like, it's huge. I have the house. I've got the family. I've got the friends. I've got the soul tribe, the squad. They're amazing. I have my community. I have the love of my life. I have the healthiest, most vital body. It's so passionate and sensual. I love this beast. There's nothing that I lack for except for more passion. And my passion comes from watching you build your table, watching you build your empire, watching you change the world with me, alongside me. Not in my, like, you doing it and me being like, yes, and cheerleading you on. That's what brings me passion now. Celebrating the pure, authentic, amazing people, and watching you get it and watching you figure it out and watching you ascend and arrive in your highest timeline. That's wild, guys. It's wild. So your divine purpose is going to start with a moment of knowing. And it's up to you what you do with that. If you are still aching to be special and you think your divine purpose is standing in the public eye and performing, well, maybe one day, but you got to self-check. You got to put your desire to be seen aside and see your damn self. Otherwise, you're never going to arrive. If you do not become fully authentic, you won't get there. You'll do good things. It'll be great. But you're not actually going to create sustainable change for anybody if you're not authentic. And if you haven't been through the mud and climbed out of the gutter, how are you going to help someone else do it? So go inside, do the internal work, understand yourself, understand what's required for you, for your ego, your emotional body, your inner child, your spiritual body, your expansions, to go get out of avoidance and start to navigate mastering each body on its own and then bring them into union. Everything is smooth sailing from there. But if you don't do that, you may have a bazillion followers on TikTok or something stupid. Like, feel good Phil. I don't understand that fucker. Like, so 40 and so many followers. And I'm like, all right, well, that's not the game I want to play. No disrespect, but that's not the game I want to play. I'm not interested in showboating anything. I'm interested in you arriving because it's fucking awesome. So, August, get the monthly forecast. It's going to be in the newsletter. So, domino.com, get the newsletter. The monthly forecast is going to be in there. It's breaking down every week how to master the energy to arrive. This is a finale. This is the finish line. This is it. And then September is going to be psh, psh, if you haven't got it together, or it's going to be this way. And the leaders are going to be standing in the light. The leaders are going to be leading the way. And everybody else is going to be projecting and for me, this is what I'm going through. And it's like, oh, okay, get over it. So do that. Make sure you follow along for the daily forecasts. Fuck, man, let's kick ass. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to shake the world. And I don't know. I think we should do it together. So get your shit figured out. All right. I love you tremendously. I really do. I have so much love for the support and the love letters and watching you figure it out and hearing your transformations. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being so brave and vulnerable in the comments here. And thank you for following along on my lives. It's like a whole family when I get there. I love it. Okay. Until I see you again, you know what to do. Go look in the mirror, find a million reasons to say thank you. I love you. And I will see you when I see you. Bye, guys.